What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for coming back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the sixth and worst film in the Freddy Krueger franchise, Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare. So just to be completely honest with you guys, I started filming this video, got about 10 minutes into my review, and then realized that I did not plug in my mic. Oh God. Anyway, I could not talk about this train wreck alone, so I had to have Q Reviews and Rashad Reviews join me here in this video. I'm going to do my best to have the same energy that I had in that first review, but let's go ahead and get into my thoughts on easily the worst film in this series. If you guys have been keeping up with my reviews for this franchise, you know that I love the first and the third one. I like the second one. The fourth and the fifth one are kind of disappointing to me, and here we are with easily the worst film in the franchise. This is a movie that is almost an insult to the fans, and in so many ways is just so convoluted, not well written, not well acted. The special effects are subpar. The kills are completely forgettable or laughable, and there's almost nothing redeemable about this movie. The only positive that I can really give this movie is probably Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. And even then, the script, the dialogue he's given, even the one-liners that you come to enjoy Freddy for, they're just not all there. It's not an exciting film in any way, shape, or form. There's no mystery, there's no tension, there's nothing creepy about it. And they literally make Freddy a full-blown Looney Tunes character in this movie, right down to some sound effects pulled right out of cartoons for this movie. The basic premise of this film is that we're introduced to this character named John Doe, who doesn't really remember who he is and what his past is and what, how he's connected to things. He's found in this location after being in this dream sequence with Freddy. We end up finding out that there's this town called Springwood, I believe that's what it's called, where all the minors, all the teenagers have all been killed. And there's only adults. There's these random cameos from people like Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold, as well as a random cameo near the end of the film from Johnny Depp, who was in the first film playing the character of Glenn. And yeah, this is a movie that in every way, shape, or form is just absolutely cheesy. You have this character of John Doe who's found in this random location, doesn't remember who he is, and they end up admitting him to like this, I don't know, kind of like youth house, kind of similar to what they did with the third film, but that one was kind of like a mental institution, whereas in this one, it's more of just like a house for people who are rambunctious, a bunch of teenagers that are kind of punks, you know what I mean? And the place that they send them is like this broken down warehouse with graffiti on it, and the inside of it is completely and utterly just trashed. And it literally looks like somewhere where homeless people would be doing drugs. And as I was watching the movie, I'm like, what kind of facility is this? Like, there's people who work here and everything that work with these youth. And it really just makes no sense right out of the gate. I'm going to jump right into the spoilers and say that we're introduced to this character named Maggie, that we end up finding out her name is Catherine later on in the film, but her name is actually Maggie. That's what she goes by. But she was given Catherine as a child because she is the daughter of Freddy Krueger. Throughout the course of the film, they try to do this bait and switch that maybe John Doe is the son of Freddy Krueger. Like, they just kind of keep leaning into the fact that there's maybe some child of Freddy Krueger. But yeah, it ends up being this girl Maggie, and we get some flashbacks of Freddy, and I kind of like some of the flashbacks. I feel like that's some of the creepier stuff in the film, but it also over-explains how Freddy Krueger became who he is. When you watch that first film, all you need to know is this guy was a serial killer, killing kids, ends up getting chased down by the parents of the kids he killed, ends up coming back as this vengeful dream demon. I don't really need more when it comes to a slasher franchise like this. But in this movie, we're introduced to the fact that there are these three dream demons that look like some sort of eel that you would find in the abyss. And yeah, they're terrible CG monster creatures that end up giving Freddy the abilities to do what he ends up doing throughout the course of the franchise. And yeah, it was just so unnecessary. It's cheesy, it's dumb, and it just feels like they over-explained a character that did not need to be explained. This girl Maggie has kind of suppressed these memories of her past because of the trauma, because she saw her mom get killed by Freddy. And now, there's this whole daughter versus father kind of storyline. There's a bunch of random characters that don't matter. The performances are terrible. The kills are lackluster or laughable. I would say there's only a handful. I think there's only 2 real kills in the movie. One of them ends up getting his head exploded by Freddy, which is okay, not a terrible kill. His head actually does explode, and you see it explode on camera, so that's pretty cool. But the way it happens is still kind of cheesy and cartoony. And listen, I like the other films, and there's always, you know, a cheesy element to these Freddy films, to slasher films in general, but this film leans way too much in the cheese to the point where it's just flat out cringe. One of the kills in this film is there's this kid that ends up smoking a joint, and of course, like a lot of movies of this time, they end up showing it like it's hallucinogenic. The guy ends up getting pulled into a TV, even though we do see him in the real world again after the fact. Like, the characters can't find him after he's pulled into the TV. But then later on, he's just bouncing around the house because he's asleep and he's been pulled into a video game. And you have Freddy using some sort of like Atari-looking joystick, as well as what he calls the Power Glove, which is the callback to Nintendo's Power Glove. And yeah, he's controlling this guy in this dream video game. The effects while this guy is inside the video game is completely terrible and completely cheesy. The guy is bouncing around in the real world while he's asleep, literally running around the house, bouncing up and down, and it's literally using sound effects that you would hear in something like Looney Tunes. If you think that this sounds like I'm joking, look this scene up or just go watch the movie for yourself. This movie is an absolute train wreck. It's a movie that I think is an insult to the franchise, and as a finale, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. Robert Englund is the only thing that kind of saves this movie, but like I mentioned, the dialogue and the script and the one-liners, it just doesn't really give him an abundance to do. And since we only see him so much in the film and we spend majority of our time with these garbage characters, you just find yourself completely bored, laughing at the film and wondering what the hell were they thinking with this movie. This movie doesn't even have that cheesy vibe that I can kind of just laugh with the film and be like, haha, this is cheesy, like, you know, like just enjoy it for what it is, just a guilty pleasure. No. Listen, I like slasher films. If you guys have been watching this channel, I'm a huge fan of the Chucky franchise, even some of the worst films in that franchise, and same with the Jason franchise. Even though all of those franchises have at least one stinker in the lineup, I can at least enjoy them for what they are. This movie is just, I don't know what they were thinking. It's all over the place. It feels convoluted. If you guys are thinking, Anthony, what are you talking about? It sounds like your review is all over the place. That's essentially how this film feels. The performances are literally all over the place. There's times where characters are speaking normally and then they'll just raise their voice and just start screaming at somebody for nothing. For absolutely nothing. The movie is not really well directed. There's nothing about the cinematography that's fun. There's nothing about the film in general that really makes a lot of sense. It's just a strange film with strange creative decisions. It's not well acted. The special effects are really subpar. The kills are 100% subpar and laughable. And even the makeup on Freddy in this film is just weak in comparison to the previous films. Just in the Blu-ray menu screen before I click play, you can just tell that the makeup compared to the other films is just subpar. Robert Englund is trying his best here, but he was not given good material. I do enjoy some of the flashback elements. I say that that's some of the creepier stuff that's done in the film. But for the most part, it's just kind of weak because they kind of over-explain how Freddy became how he is. And it just feels kind of dumb and cheap and silly with this whole dream demon thing. And there's a point where Maggie goes inside of Freddy's mind or inside the dream demon world. And it's just all weird. When they end up killing Freddy at the end, he explodes and his face flies towards the camera and it throws up another Freddy head and then that head explodes. If it sounds like I'm making this shit up, you have to watch this movie. This movie is... I don't even know. It's a nightmare, you know, and forgive my pun, but it is truly a nightmare. And I just don't know what they were thinking with this movie. Watching it again, I couldn't help but just feel like, man, this is easily one of, if not the worst slasher films I've ever seen in my life. There's hardly any slasher moments in the film. The characters and all of the performances in this film are laughable. The dialogue is terrible. And it just leaves nothing to really have you wanting to rewatch this movie. Now that I've rambled a bunch and I feel like I'm all over the place, let's go ahead and hear what my buddy Rashad Reviews have to say about this one.
You may dispense with the pleasantries, Perez. I'm here to get to the point of this fucking movie. I ain't gonna take long on this, y'all, I promise. I know, Perez, you and Q are gonna tear this movie apart. So like the old folks said back in the day when they came to visit your house, I can only stay a minute. So, Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. I take this one a lot more personal because Freddy was my boy. If anybody knows anything about me when it comes to my favorite slasher, Freddy Krueger is that dude. He is my favorite slasher. However, gotta call a spade. This shit was trash. After the third movie, each one got worse, and this was the absolute worst heaping pile of Triceratops shit I've ever seen. F- is what I give it from the jump. Okay, I usually say my grade for last, but no, I'm gonna say it up front. F minus is what I give this movie. And to sum it all up, because I don't want to get my pressure up, okay, as I'm getting older now, I can't have my pressure up like I used to, okay? This movie takes place, this is a live action cartoon set in a post-apocalyptic Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is a cartoon villain. His makeup even looks like it belongs on a Saturday morning cartoon or like the Power Rangers or some shit. He has a glove with knives on that murders people. Just take the fucking glove off and throw it. He doesn't use it in this movie. It's a slasher movie. He catches two bodies. Two bodies. One with the power glove and one with the fucking eardrum busting. Never used the knives at all. Why does he even have them? Why is Freddy even in this movie? No diss to Robert Englund. Robert Englund, I'm pretty sure, did the best he could with this role. He loves playing Freddy. Look, you can tell Robert Englund to dress up as Freddy and go to a damn, Make-A-Wish kid or whatever, and he'll do it. So that's how much he loves playing the character. But this movie was shit. And they tried to make it right by making New Nightmare, but by then, the damage is done. It's too late, okay? It's too late. The damage is done. New Nightmare was cool, but it's almost like the glory days of wrestling. When you found out wrestling was fake and that it just didn't have the same pop that it used to, you can't go back to it. I couldn't go back to it. Freddy, when they said Freddy's dead, they meant that shit. Freddy's dead. So Q, with that being said, I don't know if my portion is going to come before or after you, but Q, you have every right to just dig in, okay? Because I gave you shit in the past about how the Friday the 13th movies weren't as good as the Freddy Krueger movies, but that's 1 through 3. Now you got bragging rights. So feel free, Q, feel free. You've earned it. Go into this shit, rip it apart. It earned it, okay? Because I have to call a spade a spade. If you talk about which franchise ended the best, okay, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Friday the 13th had a better finish than the Elm Street series. Jason Goes to Hell is probably the worst of the Friday the 13th movies, but guess what? I can watch Jason Goes to Hell because Jason does Jason shit. Even though you don't see him, but he kills. He kills. In very brutal fashion. It's still Friday the 13th. Say what you want about Jason Takes Manhattan. At least he killed. He did Jason shit. Freddy Krueger played with a fucking power glove.
Why are you cussing so much?
I'm sorry, because I'm mad, man. That's some bullshit. I know I shouldn't be cussing so much, but damn it, didn't you see my pressure? I'm sweating and shit. It's my Freddy Krueger, man. There's nothing positive I can say about it. Perez, I know you, dog. You're going to find something to enjoy about it. You're going to say, well, it had this that I enjoyed about it, this that No. There is nothing at all enjoyable about this movie. At all. Every minute of it sucked. Even the 3D shit. I want to see this in the movies, goddammit. The 3D sucked. Everything about it sucked. Yaphet Kotto was in here. Darkness, he's in here. You know what I'm saying? Nah, even an actor of his caliber cannot save this trash. I'm going to say it again. This is a heaping pile of Triceratops shit. Like in the first Jurassic Park. Think I got my point across pretty good? I don't care nothing about this movie. But Perez, thank you, because I didn't get a chance to really say what I felt about this to anybody. So I was able to get this out. Like I always say, when I can do these rants like this, it's like taking a shit. I feel relieved afterwards. So Perez, Q, y'all do y'all thing, man. And I'm out.
A big thanks to Rashad for being here in this video. You guys can find the link to his channel down below in the description box. A big thanks to him for being in this video. I couldn't agree more with you, man. This movie is just something else. And I'm not even going to waste any more of your guys' time. Let's go ahead and hear what Q Reviews have to say about this one.
Yo, Anthony A. Perez, what up, fam? Thanks for having me on your show once again. I'm so honored to be a part of these reviews every time I get to do them. And today we get to talk about Freddy's Dead, the final nightmare. Oh, have the mighty has fallen. You know what? I know you and Rashad are probably going to have the same type of feelings as I do about this movie. That is complete dog shit crap. Azealia Banks cooking the cat trash. How bad is this movie? How disappointing is this movie? This was supposed to be the final nightmare. Us coming up in 1984, follow these movies all the way up until this point, which is part 6. And oh my goodness, what a ride we had with Freddy. Great ones like the original Nightmare. Freddy's Revenge is even good. Dream Warriors took him to another level. Dream Master started to go down a bit, but I like that. Dream Child, nah. And then we get to the final nightmare. Time to kill Freddy. Where should we start on this train wreck? Alright, first off, I can't even attempt to explain this plot because it doesn't make any sense. Okay, Freddy has an offspring somewhere, and he needs the offspring to get his power to bring him more souls. Whatever. Already stupid. Already stupid. Let's get into this cast. This cast is the worst cast of people. I have never seen a horror movie with such dislikable people. Like, this whole cast is trash. Throw them away. From the guy who's supposed to be Freddy's son. You find out that's not true. It's a daughter. Oh, what the twist! Oh, it's so fucking stupid. Okay, first 5 minutes into this movie, Freddy is on a fucking broom like the Wicked Witch of the West. This is the first 5 minutes. I'll get you, my pretty, and your little soul, too. I'm fucking out, son. I'm out. I was like, okay, Freddy has went from, like, kind of being comical. I mean, like, some of these jokes was getting bad and corny. Let's be honest with you. Freddy jokes was corny, but, you know, he's Robert Englund. He's a likable guy. But when I heard him say, I'll get your little soul, too, I was out. I was like, oh, boy. His makeup on his face looked like, when you put silly putty onto newspapers, that pink silly putty, and you get that... And a newspaper robot was looking like they put that shit on Robert Englund's face. What a shame. Robert Englund's even unlikable in this film. And Robert Englund is great as Freddy Krueger. How do you make him unlikable? I have no idea. They did it here in this movie. But is there any saving grace to the movie? The special effects are trash. The effects are so uninspired and unoriginal. Okay. You know, you're in a boardroom. Once we have a dude that's deaf and we amplify his hearing by dropping thousands of pins onto the floor and to be amplified and loud, and, you know what I'm saying, it'll bust his eardrums, and they're trash, son. But I will say, I'll give it saving grace. I watched it on Blu-ray, and the sound really good on that part. Like, they did a really good job with the sound. And while I'm speaking on good stuff, I'm going to speak on another good point of this movie. The best part of the movie, which I thought they could have made a whole movie off of that. They could have started here. It's when they go to the backstory when Freddy's wife found out that he was molesting and killing children, and his daughter witnesses as well. And he chokes her mother out, and then she goes in the basement and she sees all Freddy Krueger's gloves and things, early, makings of the glove and things like that, while he's outside killing his mother. I thought that was the best directed part and the best part of the entire movie. Like, I would like to see more, expanded more on this concept. But the rest of the movie, it don't even make any sense. Okay, they're in the dream. When they fall asleep, they're kind of awake and dreaming at the same time. So when they're dreaming, it's one part with a video game, totally stupid, where this dude is like literally bouncing up like a character from Super Mario Brothers 3. Like ding, doing, 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 and they're even making the cartoon sounds. Like, video games don't make cartoon sounds. I mean, they can now, but back then they would probably make 90s video game sounds, but it's like Tom and Jerry sounds. It was totally stupid. This is the most disappointing horror movie sequel ever, I think, ever. I mean, we got Halloween Resurrection, it was pretty bad, but I can laugh at that. We got Halloween 2, which is Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, which is pretty bad. I mean, this and this are up there, but like Resurrection I can laugh at. Friday the 13th, part 10, which is like a total shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a really bad movie, but at least it's fun. This movie, it's just straight up obnoxious. You know what I'm saying? It's not funny. Nothing's funny in it. You know what I'm saying? The characters all suck. The acting is atrocious. Atrociously bad. takes a L on all fronts, son. And then at the very end, you know, they go into this 3D thing. I remember seeing this in the theater. The 3D was kind of trash with the gimmicky. They do this type shit. Overall, this movie's just so disappointing to be Freddy's Dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all could have let y'all boy go out better than this, son. And at the end, he comes out of the dream world into real world. They kill him sort of like they did in the first movie, but it was just so meh. And then at the end, they blow Freddy up with some pipe bomb or whatever. Very, very weak. And then Freddy's dead now. He's laying, his carcass is laying on the ground, and the camera literally turns to the surviving cast, and the girl says, "Freddy's dead," and it ends. The movie ends. Like, what the fuck? That was so trash. The only best thing after that, seeing all the montages from the other Nightmare on Elm Streets. This movie takes L. You know, a 1.5 on my scale, man. I don't know what you guys think of this movie. Anthony, thanks for having me on this review again. I love Freddy Krueger. He's one of the best horror characters of all time, but this movie was atrociously bad. I watched it recently. I can't believe how bad it was, even for the time period that it came out. But what you guys think of this movie? Back to you guys, Ant and Rashad. Peace.
A big thanks to both Rashad and Q for being here in this video. I couldn't agree more, guys. This movie is just all around bad. I am very curious. If you are a fan of this movie, please, you know, and I'm not saying this to like attack you or anything, please comment what about this movie works for you, because I am genuinely curious if there are fans and what it is about this film that kind of works for certain people. This movie for me is just a mess. It's a mess in every way, shape, or form. And also, I forgot to mention when we were talking about cameos that we get to see Freddy as a young boy and also as a teenager in this movie. And when he's a teenager, we find out that he kills his stepfather, who's played by Alice Cooper. So it's just kind of funny that we're 6 movies into this franchise and the worst one, and you have cameos like Johnny Depp, Roseanne Barr, Tom Arnold, and Alice Cooper. And maybe there's more, and maybe I missed them, but man, this movie is just hard to watch. It was a sleeper. My eyes were heavy while watching it. The effects and the kills are just not all there. You know, there are some good Freddy moments. You know, I always like when Freddy says bitch at the end of anything. So there's times where he did make me laugh with that in the movie. But outside of that, that's kind of a stretch. That's all I got. That's all I really got to really have as positives for this movie. So yeah, guys, I really don't have much more to say on this movie. And now that I've done this review essentially 2 times, I don't want to fake the funk for you guys. But Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare is easily the worst film in the franchise. I am looking forward to doing Wes Craven's New Nightmare and Freddy vs. Jason and the remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street coming up very soon. So thank you guys if you guys have been keeping up with these videos. Definitely go down below in the description box, give Q Reviews and Rashad G some love. Go subscribe to their channels. Yeah, this is a movie that it's 3 subpar kills, it's bad acting, it's poor special effects compared to the other ones, and just more than anything, it's really poor script and poor story. I can forgive an older film like this for, you know, not so great special effects or even not so great acting, but the story has to be somewhere. I can't help but watch this one and be like, man, this is just flat out bad. There's just nothing about this movie that's even capable of being reclaimed. I should have known right out of the gate when the movie started, and you have Freddy riding on a witch's broom and repeating lines from The Wizard of Oz, acting like the witch from Wizard of Oz, that this movie was going to be a train wreck, and it 110% was. So yeah, guys, can't wait to hear your thoughts on Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Comment your thoughts down below. Do you like this movie? Do you not like this movie? Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. It definitely helps the channel out, and comment your thoughts. I really, really want to hear what you guys have to say. Also, hit that subscribe button, guys. I'm really trying to continue to grow this channel, and I'm so grateful for all of you who have clicked that subscribe button. And if you're watching and have not clicked subscribe already, you see it right there. It's in red. Click subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.